Yo, YouTube, we are back with another video. You see the title, man. I woke up to news twice. I woke up to Jalen Ramsey getting traded with Mika Fitzpatrick, and then I woke up again to college basketball coming back. I'm gonna put it right here if y'all haven't seen the tweet, bro. Well, I don't know what's going on. I feel like every single time I wake up, there's just something that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You see the title. Let's get straight into the video. You know
We
what I'm
just
saying?
got some of the best
Let me know who's
news in
excited.
sports video game history. College basketball games are officially returning. This news came out of nowhere. No one was truly expecting it, at least not right now. I mean, we're in the middle of college football 26 season. We've got tons of news dropping. We've got gameplay videos.
I'm not gonna lie, for
EA,
bro, this is crazy, bro.
For you guys, it's coming out later this week. And then in the middle of all that, EA says, "Hey, guess what? College basketball games are coming back." What is going on? Now, I know that I mainly just cover football games on this channel, but for a game this big and for how passionate I know a lot of my watchers are for college sports, we're gonna have to cover this game going forward. So
I'm not gonna lie, we might be even closer to getting NBA Live back, bro. You know what I'm saying? This might be the stepping stone, but the problem is y'all gotta actually buy the game and enjoy the game, bro. Y'all gotta get 2K out of here. I'm sorry, bro. Y'all gotta get 2K out of here. That was the problem with NBA Live, and that's why NBA Live didn't succeed.
Ignore these videos, but we're gonna have to follow the development of the first college basketball game in over 15 years. The reason all these college games initially went away was because EA got sued over their college basketball game back in like 2009. So to see this now finally come full circle, and this is now going to be coming back in a few years.
Yeah, now it's easier to make college games like college football.
Sports tweeted this morning. They said, "Bring the madness. Let's run it back. College basketball. It's in the game." And everybody's freaking out because while the college football game did really, really good last year, in fact, it was the best-selling sports game of all time, no one was truly sure if they were going to dive into a basketball game just because college basketball is not nearly as popular as college football. But seeing how good the football game did, it's almost a guarantee that the basketball game will do pretty good as well. Maybe not as good, but it's...
Man, I'm actually, because we haven't had like an EA basketball game in a second. The last one was NBA Live. In my opinion, NBA Live wasn't bad. It had its problems, but honestly, to me, the gameplay wasn't bad. Of course, it wasn't 2K, but you know what I mean? Like, I really wonder how it's gonna.
It was rumored a few months ago that both EA and 2K internally were talking about potentially bringing a college basketball game back, but that's really all we had heard. There was nothing too concrete on the situation yet until this morning. Now, I'm really looking forward to this because this is kind of the first time we're going to get true competition between major sports games in many, many years. As you know, when it comes to football, it's just EA. They've got Madden and now college football. There's no other company that makes either. With baseball, it's just MLB The Show. And with basketball, for many years, it's just been NBA 2K. This is really going to be the first time that any of the major American sports have two different companies making a game. We'll have 2K making NBA and we'll have EA making college, which is going to be interesting because we just haven't had that in the sports gaming landscape in quite some time. And both sides...
Yeah, it's been like 6 years. The last NBA Live was 19, right? So it's been like 6 years since we actually had competition. And was it even really competition? It really wasn't, if we're gonna be honest.
For it. We would all like multiple companies to make games of the same sport because at the end of the day, that typically is going to give us a better product. So not only is this going to be good for just basketball fans in general, for college fans, but you know, it could be really good for just 2K fans in general because having another basketball game on the market that's going to be getting popularity could push them to do more things in their game. So I think that's great. And another thing that's interesting is that this
2K's complacent though, bro. I feel like they don't care.
Game that's gonna have a lot of things for the first time because if you remember back in the day, the last time we had college basketball games or just basketball games in general around that time, you know, they still hadn't fully hit their stride like they did throughout the 2010s. Like NCAA basketball 2010 didn't have an online dynasty. College basketball games never had an online dynasty. I don't even think you could create teams in that game. I'm also pretty sure there wasn't a career mode because career modes in basketball games came a bit later than the football games because NBA 2K10 was the first time that they started a My Career, which was the same year of NCAA basketball 2010, and they didn't have that in the game. So when this college basketball game comes back, it'll be the first one to have online dynasties, a real career mode, like a Road to Glory basketball version and things like that, which will be really, really fun. And another tidbit I did want to throw in there because we had heard that EA was working on this.
But I really hope it's going to be fire.
They want to bring more open world stuff stuff to their sports games, and they specifically mentioned their soccer game. They mentioned American football. I would think that they're going to also implement this into any college basketball game they're playing, just because that's kind of become a staple in NBA 2K. So if you're bringing back in a way a competing basketball game, even though it's college, I think you're going to probably add that as well, because by 2028,
the only problem with that, and like I said, I don't want to prolong this video. I feel like the only problem with that is that people are just going to compare it to 2K. People are going to say, oh, this is college basketball's park, or let's just say NBA Live comes back and they do their own thing again. They're just going to say, oh, this is just park. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's always going to have those comparisons, but I guess we just got to see how it turns out.
Games like Madden and college football, they're going to, be putting it there for the career mode type stuff. I do think this could be cool for college and college football, because you could have a campus, and the same would be true for a college basketball game. So I do think that's something we can probably also expect to be a part of.
College basketball is for sure going to have an Ultimate Team also.
Invested in and working on. Now, we're going to continue on with some other important info that we got about this game today. But really quickly, I want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports and you like winning money...
I was about to say, I thought he was sponsored by college basketball. You know what I mean? No, there's no way, bro.
We got to talk about Matt Brown. If you were around here for the College Football 25 news cycle, then you know who Matt Brown is. He was getting a ton of info over the years leading up to the release of that game, and he brought us a lot of good info along the way that kind of held us over until the game dropped. Well, it looks like he's going to be back in a big way for college basketball, because he's already given us a little bit of info on it. He had said a while back that he heard that they were potentially looking into something, but I mean, again, a lot of people heard that. We didn't really know how true that was. Well, this morning he did mention a few things about this game once the announcement broke. One of those things was that it will not be called NCAA basketball, which I think we kind of expect that. He said the working title is EA Sports College Basketball, which I would pretty much already say, yes, that's going to be the title. They're going to just do the same thing they did with football. Why rock the boat? Keep the branding similar. And it says the NCAA will participate as a licensing partner, but will not be in the title of the game. So that'll be pretty interesting there. NCAA will still have involvement with the game. Another thing that he broke was that the game is going to include women's basketball programs. So this would be a standalone title with both men and women's college basketball teams and players.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, I was about to say, bro, I can play with Juju Watkins, but Juju Watkins gonna be the WNBA by the time this game drops.
Because if you remember,
I don't know if it's real, but I heard it's gonna be around 2028, which it makes sense because I went all the way back to when college football announced it, and that was in 2021, and they dropped it in 2024. So
it was live 18 and 19. They were the first
they're probably
going
to take that long,
WNBA
honestly.
teams inside their men's basketball game, and then since then 2K has followed suit, and they include the WNBA inside of NBA 2K as well. So this kind of makes sense. EA was the first to do something like that, so why wouldn't they do it with college basketball? And honestly, nowadays women's college basketball is really popular. I'm not going to necessarily say it's more popular than the men's. I think, when they had Caitlin Clark, you maybe could have made that argument because they were getting a lot of viewers, but women's college basketball has grown in popularity quite a bit, so it makes sense to include them in the game. And when you also factor in that, unlike college football, basketball teams have much, much smaller rosters, so it doesn't really make sense for them not to include the women, because the number of players total, is still something they can work with. Now, it's also been said that this game is not expected to be out until 2028, which again makes sense. That's about the working time that they had to get college football out. It took them about
literally, like I just said,
3.5 years. And remember, they had a jumping off point with the Madden game. I don't really think they have a jumping off point with this unless they can still kind of piggyback maybe a little bit off of what they did with NBA Live 19, but that's so many years ago. I feel like you would maybe...
Yeah, that's the thing, bro. They're gonna drop the game. Like I said, this is our closest chance for all the NBA Live fans. I'm not gonna say during that time I was a heavy NBA Live fan, but I played the games, and the games wasn't bad. So this is the closest we have a chance of getting NBA Live back. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I guaranteed if this game gets show love and it's a good, decent game and we show the game is love, I guarantee we're going to get NBA Live back in some sort of fashion. We're going to get it back. But we need to show this game love.
I want to start completely fresh. Maybe they don't have to go all the way down to ground zero, but it's definitely going to be less of a jumping off point than they had with Madden, for example. So maybe they've already been working on it for just a little bit. Maybe they started a few months ago, but 2028 is when we can expect this. So we know from dealing with college football the first time around, these things take time. They can't just pop this game out in a year or two, especially if you want it done right.
Bro,
And
I'm not just think of the games that are coming out, bro. We got college football 25. We got Madden 25 that's looking good. We got GTA 6. What? May 26, I think. I forgot what date, but I think it was May 26. And then Black Ops 7 for all the Call of Duty fans out there. I don't really play Call of Duty like I used to, but you know what I'm saying? For the people that's excited for that. And then we got what else? College basketball coming 2028, maybe 2027, hopefully, but 2028 most likely. You know what I'm saying?
That wound up paying off for
getting,
college football.
you know what I'm saying? As much as people hate games, I feel like games are gonna start getting better, bro. And I've been saying this. I feel like 2025 was the year of games, and it might just be.
So it's just when you're trying to make a sports game and add a lot of depth and add all that atmosphere and stuff from college, all the little things. It does take a lot of time because there's so many different programs. So we know that it's going to take time, but we're excited now to have this back. As soon as we get any more news on this, I'm going to make videos on it. But we got to get back into the college football season because for the rest of this week.
Hey, man, I'm going to just say this. I was not expecting to wake up to news that college basketball was coming back. I thought that, if anything, NBA Live would come back before college basketball, but it's crazy, bro. Let me know if y'all excited for college basketball. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments, bro. And yeah, it's been Jay Shady. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace out.